Okay, so I just started recording. So your question is, you gave first name and last name and you want to see some space, right? Between
Yeah.
these two names. Yeah, so this is possible. You have to just give a just simple space after first name or before last name.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, if I just create Java.
Like before I close the
Okay.
apostrophe for the first name or the last name, like I just give a space and then close it.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Java day 3. So I'm just creating one string demo. Okay. So you have to always write public static void main.
Mhm.
You have to write, right? String demo 1. So inside that you will be writing. So you gave string s1.
Yeah.
String s1, or it can be any name, right? So I'm just
Yeah, and it is
s1 equal to, for example, Tom. But anytime you give is string, you have to give double quotation, right?
yeah.
Okay. So next one will be string s2. S2. Or you can say string first name, string last name, something like that. But
Mhm.
so this is first name, second name, or last name. So you
Yeah.
want to see this name, right? So
Yeah.
system dot, right, out
Out.
println is already came as a suggestion.
Mhm.
So you can do two things. You can give display. So you can just write something, display another name. You can just simply write something, display name. So you see that I gave I guess a quotation here, right?
Space.
So
Yeah.
instead of that, I'm just giving one space,
Okay.
and then I can give plus. So you are giving string 1, means s1,
Mm-hmm.
plus s2. So if you write like that, there will be no space between
No
them,
space.
right?
Yeah.
So if I run this now, Tom Vidal came as a
Mm-hmm.
um,
Without space.
without space. So you can do one thing. You can do probably just give like this. Instead of that, you can keep this one as it is. Only you have to
Yeah.
just give one space.
Okay.
You see that I just gave one space.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah.
Now that will give you just
Okay. So even for that space, we have to put the commas like
yes. So
okay.
this is the actually right way. But sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if you just you are not, for example, if you directly give anything, for example, I'm not using uh, those variables. I'm just directly writing something. Then you don't have to give this type of space. Then all you have to do, just give space like this. So I can give Tom. I can give my name. I can give one space here, or
Mm-hmm.
So this is, for example, if I run this, my name will be displaying with a space. See that? Or
Yeah.
if you don't want to give space here, you can give space beginning of this line also. It will be same thing. You see this, just giving this.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
question from anybody else? Okay, so I'll start today's topic. So today's topic will be different type of loops. That is very important topic for automation purpose. First, go to notes. So far, okay. We saw if else, this thing last class. Also, as I suggested, so till last class, it was video number 2, right? So today I will cover, for example, video number 3 and 4. So you can also watch 3 and 4 later from there when you get a chance. And also, as I'm trying to keep all the recordings here. Everybody should have this in WhatsApp channel. And under January 2023, for example, after the class today, I will just add here so that if you want to watch in the future for any reference purpose, so you can watch it. It will be there all the time. But I will always suggest follow this video because he actually went all the details step by step, really nice examples and everything. Okay. So, okay. So you already know what is if statement. If you practice actually the video last week, else statement, if else together, and then conditional statement like shortcut if else, switch statement you already saw, break you already saw with switch, but we will see both break and continue with more example. Now we'll start loop. So there are several, there are 3 types of loops we'll be actually concentrating on. And that 3 types of loops will be actually used in Java interview plus automation practice. So there are 3. One is for loop, another is while loop, and third one is do while loop. So this is sometimes asked during the interview, what are those 3 loops and how those 3 loops are different from each other, and basically how you write the Java code to use those loops, right? So now I will actually open W3 School again as part of our reference. So W3 School will be always good reference point for interview or for any quick example you want to see, because W3 School has both details and you can also practice. So W3 School Java. So you see that here, loops, different type of loops. So I will start from for loop. And you will see what are those loops. So far, going back to, so, okay. Close all other thing. If else, string. So only I'm just keeping this one only open. So far we saw anytime we want to run anything, to display anything, we actually write this line multiple times. So for example, if I want to see, if I want to write something like today is day one, right? For example, I want to write something like Java. So if I want to write something like Java, I want to see some Java like 10 times, 15 times. What I have to do? I have to write this line maybe 10 times. For example, I'm writing this Java like 10 times. So I wrote 10 times this Java to see Java on the screen 10 times. But if you use the loop, what you have to do, you have to write a short formula and you'll say, type this Java 10 times. So this is the use of loop. So it will reduce your number of lines of codes and it will make your code more simpler and is readable. And sometimes you have to display some of the information maybe 100 times. You don't want to write 100 times same line again and again. It will not be looking good. Like your code will be like couple of pages long that actually you can do same thing in maybe 10 line. So to reduce this type of effort, right? Displaying same thing multiple times, or you want to display number 1 to 100. Do you want to write every time system.out.println 1, system.println 2, 3, 4, 5? This is it 1 to 100. You have to write 100 lines. But if you just give in some 2 line that says, okay, please write number 1 to 100, display on the screen. Just 2 line and it will be displaying 1 to 100. It will be much simpler and looks nicer. Your code will be like really good looking, right? You will save time, you will save space, and more readable. So that's why loop will be introduced in Java to reduce all of this type of extra effort, right? So now if you see W3 School also, so what is loop actually? You see that this statement, right? It says print value 1 to 0, but it did not write 1 to 0 means 10 different number, right? It did not write 10 different number. It wrote only 2 line, right? So it gave, but if you check this one, I will actually see. So you see that this is only just 2 line. There is a formula. I will explain the formula a little later. And if you run this, you will see this 10 here. It should be coming. It is a little slow maybe, but oh. Okay. There is a I is basically I will be greater than or equal to 10. I gave the opposite direction. I gave smaller than, it will be greater than. So this is the formula actually will be used for loop, but just display this. Okay, so this formula I will modify a little bit more, then we'll be running. So this is kind of IDE IntelliJ, but is web-based. Somehow it is not working, but it's okay. Oh, I will go to actually IntelliJ will show. Okay, so what is loop here? There is, let me go to my notes. So there will be three parts in the formula. You always have to write for first and then a parenthesis. And inside the parenthesis, there will be first thing, for example, you want 100, right? 1 to 100. So what is your starting point? You have to give this starting point. For example, you want to display the number from 50 to 100, not 0 to 100. You don't need to display 0 to 49. You want to display 50 to 100. So here, initialization part, you will be saying that this is starting point is 50. And condition means how long you want to run. You said you want to run till 100. So you have to give run till 100. And here you are saying run positive direction. Means if you start from 50, it will go to positive direction, means 51, 52, 53, 54. There is another one is negative direction. Now, if you want to display from 50 to 0, that means if you say starting point 50 and go to negative direction, it will be displaying the number 50, 49, 48, 47. You see that? And here you will say display the number. You see that these 2 lines of code will be actually covering like 100 lines of code. So if you see this one, for int equal to 1, the same thing that I just actually was trying to W3 school, looks like W3 school is somehow down, maybe that part. It's supposed to display, so if I say I want to display USA 10 times, so what I have to do? All I have to do, just create another class, new, and just, so all you have to do, maybe I'm just copying this. New plus loop demo. Actually, for loop. There are 3 types of loops. So I will show for loop first, then while loop, then do while loop. For loop demo 1. For example, for loop demo 1. Actually, I don't need this, just. So as I said, here it is, first I have to write this formula for, right? So in the for, you'll write, so you write for and then parenthesis. So inside the parenthesis, the first part is always the starting point. You see that? Always the starting point. So your starting point, since it is always start with some number, some position is number, right? Number 1, number 2, number 3. So it will be always int, right? Int is actually numerical number. So you have to give what type of starting point, means this is a number, right? So you want to see 10 times. That means that's a number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 10 is the number. So int I equal to starting point. So I give int, this is a data type. So I'm giving int I equal to 0, for example, or 1. So there is 2 things. If I want to see number 0 to 10, I can give actually 0. But if I want to see I want to see number 1 to 10, starting point will be 1, right? So it depends like what you want to display. So for example, I want to see 0 to 10, 0. Then there is second part. And between the second part, you always have to give semicolon. Remember semicolon? Every part will be ending with semicolon. And then condition, right? So what is the condition? That means your I should be less than or equal to 10. So you want to display number from 0 to 10. That means you have to give a condition. I is less than or equal to 10. Another semicolon for ending this part, right? Remember, you see that? I. So I is representing some starting point, right? So if I give my name instead of I, it will be still same. This is I is a variable, right? Now, remember in operating system, operators, you saw some kind of operators in the beginning. You see that increment and decrement. This will be used for loop sometimes, because plus plus means it is giving you positive direction. So I plus plus means go to next number, positive direction. I minus minus, or that minus minus means go to previous number, backward. Remember I said if you want to go to positive direction, you have to give plus plus. If you want to go to negative direction, you have to use minus minus. And okay, now go back. So that now I will do, since I want to see the number in positive direction, starting from 0, then 1 2 3 4 5. So it is I plus plus. So this part is done, right? So next part will be, you have to open a curly bracket that you want to just display. This is just what you want to display on the screen. So here you will just write system, right? Dot out dot println, right? Inside the println, all you have to, what you want to see, just I, that's it, right? I is representing your number here. I is variable, you see that variable? It is just representing your number. So now if I run this, I will see, I supposed to see number 0 to 10 here. That's my expectation. You see that? I see total 11 line of code, right? 11 number. 0 to 10 is total 11 number, but I just gave one line condition formula. I didn't write like this 10 different line. So I reduced it to, so same thing, if you just write Java here instead of I, it will be displaying Java 10, 11 times. 11 times. See that? Everybody can see, right?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
So when we write like the like the condition, so like we always use the variable I for both, like the statement like I is equal to 0, I is smaller than, and is equal to, is it always has to be I?
You can
can
give,
be any variable.
you can give anything. You can give K,
but both the variables have to be same.
If you give anything here, this and this will be same.
Okay.
As I said, variable can be any name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If I just give Gilma, for example, I have to give Gilma here also. if I give Gilma, you have to give Gilma here also.
Okay.
So now if I run this, it will be running exactly same way. See that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
Understood.
and you are seeing some string, right? That's why you are giving string.
Mhm.
If you want to see just number, you just write Gilma here. And it will give you number. So
Okay.
usually like you give some shortcut, like not big number. So something like I.
Mhm.
I means integer. That's why we give I.
Right.
You can give anything actually.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a for loop, right? So if I don't give equal to, that means now I'm saying start from 0 but end before 10. Don't include 10. That means 9 will be the last point, right? So you have to sometimes understand, you see that this equal to, less than, equal to, or what is that symbol means. So this one you can write another way also. So you said I plus plus. So same thing you can write I equal to I plus 1. Isn't it same thing? I plus plus or I equal to I plus 1 is exactly same thing. It will be again same thing. So I plus plus is a shortcut form of I equal to I plus 1. If you see some loop, operators, you see that operators? This one actually basically plus plus means increasing 1. They have more stuff here. Variables, types. Yeah, I think you already covered this thing, operators, right? You already like practice little bit of operators, right? Plus, minus, multiplication. Yeah. But Boolean we'll see a little more in the future class also. Going back to for loop again. So this is one of the example. This is another example is, okay. Again, you see that plus plus is something. So now you have a requirement, and that requirement is saying, please display 0 to 100, but don't display odd number, only the even number. What is even number? Like 2, 4, 6, 8, something like that. How you can do that? You see that if you see this formula, so you want to see the even number, right? From 0 to 100. All you have to do, starting point. You see that is starting point? So what is the first even number? 2, right? Hello?
Right.
Yeah, we can listen.
You can say 2, or sometimes 0 can be also even number or odd number. There is a debate, but you can start from 0 also. And you saying you just want to display all the even number. So that means it will end at 100. This part you understood?
Yes.
And you want to see even number means every time you'll be adding, instead of 1, it will be adding 2. See that? And that will display all the even numbers. You can see, right? Similar thing, you can say, okay, I want to see only the odd numbers. So your starting point will be just 1, and you don't have to change anything. If you just run it, every time 1 plus 2 equal to 3, 3 plus 2 equal to 5. You see that you are saying every time go to positive direction and add 2. You understood this part, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you run this, you will see just instead of even number, you'll see just odd number. See that? So this is like some of the example of your for loop. And there is another shortcut form, like you saw before. For what is that? If else has a shortcut, right? For also has a shortcut. If you think about shortcut of for, right? There is actually shortcut I will show you maybe after while loop and do while loop. This is first right now discussing about just regular for loop, or you can actually, okay. You see that for each loop, this is a shortcut of for loop. I can just go directly right now. But it is going to array is a different topic. So I will cover this and then go to shortcut form. So since you already have for loop, now I can go to break and continue. So you already saw for loop here, right? And I'm just giving the simple I++. And here I'm giving 0. And I don't want to see 100, just 10. So if I run this, it will be 0 to 10. So now I'm saying when you reach 7, just stop running the program. That will be actually considered as a break. Where you saw break before? In switch statement, remember? In switch statement, you also saw break.
Yeah.
So that means if you find the correct match, stop running the code. You saw that before already. So similar way, if I say this is, so basically you are using if statement inside the for loop. You see that I am just writing if statement inside the for loop. So he's saying that first you say display 0 to 10. Now I'm saying if you find a match of number 7, anything, it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, anything. I'm saying number 7. That means now break it. Break it means stop running the code. You don't have to continue till 10. Just stop there. That's it. You see that? It displayed till 6, but when it reached 7, it did not display here. It stops there. That means it did not reach in this line. So similar way, I can say another thing. So what is the use case of this actually? So that means, for example, you are looking for some MacBook. You want to buy some MacBook from Amazon. So now you say display top 50 MacBook available in the inventory. And now you give some filter, right? You give some filter that, okay, if you find if you see more than a price more than 1500, you are not interested. So all you have to see all the MacBook till price 1500. There are MacBook 3000, 4000 also, right? But you are not interested in like that expensive one. You gave your budget is maximum budget is 1500. So whenever this 1500 reach here, it will stop here. Instead of maybe 50, you will see maybe 30 MacBook, right? You don't need to see 50 MacBook that like another 20 has 2000, 25,000. So similar way, like you will break your, so whenever you give filters, right? Remember you give some kind of filters. Internally, Java code runs something like that. So when it reach your maximum limit, basically it will not display anything on your screen if something is outside of your limit, right? It will break immediately. So another word you saw here, right? Continue. So continue means, so break, you saw that break the program. So continue means if you find anything like number equal to 8, don't stop, but don't display that. Display something else, just skip that part. Means if I say, instead of break, if I say continue, I'm saying don't break the code, go to next number or next search. So I'm saying don't display 7, continue to next number. So if I run this one, so you will see 0 to 6 and then 7 will be skipped and then 8, 9, 10. Basically continue means skip that number, that specific number. So what does that mean actually? So sometimes you will be searching some product, right? And you will say, okay, you are giving MacBook. So you're saying, for example, MacBook has maybe 6 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, 10 gigabyte, 12 gigabyte, something like that, right? So you see that you want to see all of them, which is not 6 gigabyte. So above 6 gigabyte. So you are giving 6 gigabyte here just to skip that one and display everything else. So this is continue. Continue means skip that point that you are giving, and break means whenever you reach your condition, just break the execution. Basically, you will be breaking the execution. So this is difference between break and continue. So, okay. So now we saw so far for loop. Now we'll see while loop. There are two other loop that you have to understand. So for loop, you saw this is the condition, right? I'm just actually, for now, this is deleting this. So this is for loop. Now, the formula is written in one line. So now in while loop, you will be writing exactly same formula, but you'll be writing in two different lines. So maybe this part you'll be writing first and this part you'll be writing next. So how it is actually written, just see for loop is done, while loop, right? So let's go to while loop. So you said while loop, you are giving the condition. So in the while loop, basically, instead what is the condition part here? Do you know what is the condition part here? This is the condition part, right? This is your condition. So you are giving starting point and you are giving condition. So basically condition and plus plus minus minus, they will be actually you are writing in different place, not in the same line. In for loop, you wrote exactly in same line. You see that for loop, you wrote everything in same line. But in while loop, you are writing same thing, but I plus plus will be coming after this here. And int will be here. And instead of for, you will be writing while this condition. So if I just write a while loop, then probably you will be understanding. Go to IntelliJ, right? So this is for loop. So if I want to keep this inside a comment, I don't want to use this, what I have to write? Can somebody tell me? How you can write comment for all of these 3 lines? / star and then star / So, so now that means this part will not be part of your code. So this is part of your comment, so will not be run. So now I want to check while loop. So if I write same code in while loop, all you have to do, always have to write starting point first. Starting point means I equal to 0, right? I and t, I equal to 0. Everybody is just understanding me?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of everything in same line for loop, I'm writing separately. I equal to 0. Now I'm saying instead of for, I will be saying while. And inside the while, you will be giving these conditions that how long you want to run this code, basically, right? Inside the parenthesis. So I'm saying I less than or equal to 10. So basically, I'm writing exactly same thing. And now writing same thing. This, you see that you want to see the number. So you always have to remember, you see that this is the opening statement, should have a closing statement also. If you miss one of the closing statement, you will see the red. You see that I'm highlighting the first one. By default, it will show the pair of these. So if I highlight this, it will also display the pair of these, the closing statement. So this part, you understood, right? First, I gave the starting point and then the condition. And after that, I said, you have to give this I plus plus, right? So you are giving exactly same thing, and I plus plus means this is a statement actually, and you have to give a semicolon. So everybody see the difference between while loop and for loop, the writing part. Answer will be exactly same. There will be no difference of displaying answer. The use of these and use of these will be exactly same, but use case are different for two. There are 2 different use cases. So now if I run this, I will also see 0 to 10. You see that for I saw 0 to 10, for while I saw 0 to 10 also. But what is the difference? So when you have a fixed number, do you know, like for example, when you have a fixed number, you always give actually a for loop. For example,
So sorry, when you say fixed number, you mean like 10, right? Like the ending number, you mean? Like the start, like we know that we have to have the outcome from 0 to 10, so that is fixed.
Yeah,
Is that
so
what you mean?
basically both of
Okay.
them actually will be displaying kind of fixed number. But sometimes you will be using for loop, sometimes you will be using while loop, right? But if you when you see the third loop, that do while loop, then you will see some actually what is that? So exceptions or some of them, the difference, that why you will be using each of these loops separately. The use case will be, okay. So when you will be using for loop and when you will be using while loop. I can give some of the example here. So use of for loop. Use of, sometimes actually this is an interview question. When you use for loop and when you use while loop. Because you see both of them are giving exactly same answer, right? Use of, okay. Use of for loop. So I can give some of the examples. So first example will be, for example, when number of iteration are fixed. I said fixed means, for example, when you use number of day, month, year, something like that. So if each of this year, right, has like 365 days, right? So that then when you want to display some day from this year or month, each month has like 30 or 31 days, or week has 7 days, right? Whenever you see some fixed iteration, something fixed, right, then you will always use for loop. Sometimes you will be using for loop when you have category, right? For example, or state, United States has 50 states. You always will be using those for loop. Now, when we will be using while loop, when you see number of iteration is not fixed, then you will be using while loop. And that means in the future, right now I'm giving some kind of number, right? In the future, this number will be variable, means this number can be flexible. It can be what is that? Dynamic. Dynamic means it is not fixed. So today is maybe 10, tomorrow is 21. Maybe day after tomorrow will be 31. So can somebody give me this fluctuated number or dynamic number or the ending point? Again, Amazon.com, right? If you go to Amazon.com, if you search iPhone cover, for example, you are searching iPhone cover case, right? You will see like hundreds of people are selling iPhone cover. If you want to search face mask, right, during coronavirus, people was selling mask. You will see, if you search today, you probably will see maybe 200 people or 500 people selling face masks. This is not fixed, right? A new customer can come and sell their product. This number will not be fixed. So when their number will not be fixed, this number will be under while loop. That means you will be using while loop when your length is not fixed. This is called length, or the number you want to iterate or run. And for loop, right? If you say how many countries in this world, this number will be always fixed, right? If there is 200 countries or 210 countries, there will be 210 countries for next 1 month. Unless there will be like another civil war in another country, there will be separated as a new country. That's usually doesn't happen, right? That usually doesn't happen. This is a different process. If you say how many states in United States, there will be 50, right? How many, as I said, right? If you go to, for example, if I, for a school, okay, if I give you example of university. So if you want to see the student details, you want to use for loop or while loop in student
Can
registration.
you repeat the
So
question?
if I ask you student registration application, want to use some kind of loop, what loop will be better for them? For loop or while loop?
While loop.
Yeah, for them is while loop is better because new students will be coming and they will be adding new student and this number will be changed, right?
Yeah.
But if you say the branch of the universities, like there will be maybe 3 branch, they are not making every day new branch, right? That the branch of the university will be for loop, right?
Yeah.
So something like this, when you have fixed iteration, always fixed iteration, that will be for loop. When you have not fixed iteration, that you will be using while loop. This is one of the example, but there probably will be more example. I will maybe say if I come across that example. So anybody has any confusion about what is while loop? Very similar for loop and while loop. For loop will have starting point, condition, and the iteration direction in same parenthesis. While loop, starting point first, condition in the middle, and iteration direction, right, will be inside the condition. And there is a third loop is called do while loop. You see that do while loop? What you see in do while loop actually? So in do while loop, if you see, this part is coming first. No, not this part actually. This part is coming first actually. And this part is coming later. So basically, if you see actually do while loop, go to Java and while loop, this is do while loop. So what is do while loop? Run the program. They're saying just run the program and then check the condition. So before while loop, do while loop, what we saw? We saw before running the program, always check the condition first. Make sure that condition is meeting your expectation or not. If you go there, if you see for loop, right? Always run the condition. So for all of them, starting point is different. Starting point is always a starting point. But if you see the condition, it is always checking the condition first before running this I, right? Here also, checking the condition first before running this I, right? But do while loop will say, okay, run this I first and then check the condition. What does that mean? That means even condition does not satisfy, it will run at least once. So now I am putting this also inside the comment. And I will show same thing in do while loop now. So you saw this, right? So int will be always first point for all three loops. So I'm giving int I equal to 0. So int equal to 0 or 1 or 5 doesn't matter. So if you give int equal to 10, so basically starting point will always run. That is, now I'm saying do. You see that here? It's saying do. You can just copy this also. Then I will actually explain here. Okay. So that was while loop, and this is do while loop. Everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. You see that this condition came to last. Do while loop condition will be verified at the last, not the beginning. While loop condition was verified at the beginning. For loop condition was verified in the beginning. But do while loop, the program always run at the first and then check the condition. So that means now if I run this, actually 1 second. Let's copy again this one. So if I run this one, right? You see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am just saying instead of 5, I'm giving 10 again. Run. So is there any difference actually? I saw before this also gave 0 to 10. For loop also gave 0 to 10. Now do while loop also giving 0 to 10. So what happened when you have given here instead of less than or equal to is equal to greater than or equal to? What will be that actually?
It will like come in minus the output.
So if I run this, you see that this is only one number came, but your condition is saying your number has to be greater than or equal to 10. 0 is not part of this condition. Can you see that?
Yeah.
You see that condition? This condition is saying your number should be more than 10 basically, right? So if you give this condition in while loop and for loop, these loops will never run. That I gave before when I was practicing right here. Not this one. If you go to while for loop, right? When I was practicing this one, if you run this, it will give you 0 to 4, right? Now, instead of smaller than, if I give greater than, now you will see there is actually not there. Nothing will be displaying here. It will be blank. Because you are saying, you see that blank, there is no answer. You are saying starting point is 0. And then your number should be more than 5. You are saying condition, in the condition saying that your number should be more than 5. Starting point more than 5. But you said your starting point is 0. Is 0 is more than 5 or less than 5? 0 is less than 5. So that means your condition did not match and it will not reach here. Now, if you give here starting point is 6, see what happened. You see that this is the infinitive number. It will never stop. That means you say display all the number infinity starting from 6. So you have to just forcefully just stop this. It will never stop. If you give similar thing here, if I give, this is, now run this, 0, right? If I run this one and give 11, you will see there is an infinite number actually. It will never stops. And I have to actually stop manually. You see that? Millions, billions, all the numbers will be coming here. It will never stop. So I'm just closing this one here. You see that stop for loop demo? I'm stopping here. If you don't stop, it will run the whole day. Because you are not giving any break where it should be stopping. You are not giving anything. So the interview question here, what is the difference between do while loop and for loop or while loop? Can somebody explain me what is the difference? So you see these two. I'm just giving 0 is greater than. Now I'm just removing this part. Okay, so I gave two statements. One is while loop, one is do while loop. If I run this, if I run this, j equal to 0, j equal to I. So this one, right, did not display any number. This one displayed 0. Why is that actually? This is the interview question. Can somebody explain why this one displays 0, but this one did not display anything?
The do while loop showed 0 because of the condition. Like as long as the condition, which is like written j is greater than equal to 10. So like the condition, as long as the condition is true.
Yes, but this one condition is true.
Yeah.
How this condition is true?
No, this is condition is not true.
But why it displays here 0? Okay, so yeah, this is the interview question. Like many times interviewer will be asking you, what is the biggest difference between while loop and do while loop, or for loop and do while loop? So basically, as I said earlier, right? If you see for loop and while loop, condition will be checked first and then run the program. But in do while loop, program will be run first, and then from second round, it will check the condition. Condition will not be checked first in do while loop. So that's why anytime you run a do while loop, it doesn't matter what is the condition, the program will always run at least once. Do while loop, program will always run at least once, because it is not checking condition at the first. But other loop, they're checking condition at first and then program will be run. If condition is satisfies the expectation, then program will be run for while loop and for loop. But for do while loop, it will run the program, and then when it goes to second step, then it will check the condition. So now it ran it and displays 0. Now it goes to next. Next means you see that J++. So now it goes to J++ here. It says J equal to now 1, right? So from this 0, it displays 0 here. But here, next step, right? It came 0. And then next one is 1. And it says, is 1 is bigger than 10 or not? Or 0 is bigger than 10 or not? That means no, right? You see that this condition will be checked at the end for do while loop. So if you see do while loop, actually, what is that do while loop? This is for loop. Actually, while do while loop is here. So while loop, right? Conditions checking first, and do while loop condition checking at the last. So basically, if I give you one example, right? So you are going to two museum. You are going to two museum. One is for loop museum, another is do while loop museum, another is while loop museum. So for loop and do while loop museum said check the ticket before going to inside, before entering inside the building. Check the ticket before going inside the building. This is for and while. And do while loop is saying go to inside the building and just see one room. When you go to when you continue to next room, then check the ticket. Did you understand? Hello?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay. No, I'm saying that now if you just see the analogy, for example, you have three museum. One museum is for museum, another museum is while museum, and third museum is do while museum. That part you understood this, what I just said?
Yeah.
So now for museum and while museum has rules, and it's saying before entering inside the building, you must have to buy the ticket. You have to have the ticket, and ticket will be checked.
Okay.
And this ticket means condition.
Mhm.
And do while museum said, you can go inside the museum without ticket and just see one room. But if there are like 20 rooms, you cannot go to second room and next rooms without the ticket.
Yeah.
This is called do while loop. Do while loop, you can go inside the museum and just check one room without ticket. Condition will not be checked. Tickets will not be checked. When you want to go to next room, then ticket will be checked. If you don't have ticket, you will not be allowed. If you have ticket, you will be allowed to go inside and check the next part of museum. So now if you go to while loop and do while loop, I will understand. So this is the first room checking with do while loop. And before going to second room, it is checking the condition. In while loop and for loop, before it is going inside the building, it is checking the condition. Can you see this actually?
Yeah.
So the answer is the biggest difference, for loop will not run code if condition is false. While loop will not run code if condition is false. But do while loop will run code once if condition is false. That's why you saw only one time. If you give here like 3, 4, it will still run and it will display 4. This is the first room, for example. If you give 9, it will still run. No, 9 actually is because this is big number. Okay. Okay. So this is the actually analogy. So why you don't see code running in the for loop and while loop, and why you see code running in the while loop, do while loop actually. So anybody has any confusion about difference between while loop, do while loop, for loop? That will be used a lot during your automation practice in the future. Especially for loop is very, very common. So basically, if you go to tutorial number 3, right? This instructor actually gave you more examples. Gave you more example and with hands-on practice. So you can actually, I would suggest just continue with them, with this instructor. Follow exactly what he's doing actually. If you don't, if you are not understanding anything, just text me, or you can call me, or if you want to sit with you one-to-one, we can sometimes sit with you if you don't understand any part of this Java, and I can explain with different analogy. Maybe he's explaining his analogy, maybe you are not understanding or you are confused. I can give maybe different analogy that will be maybe making it more sense. Okay, so this is while loop. Okay, this is Java array. This is another concept that I will start today. Let's see, probably this is the second part of today's session. And this is the interview question and answer. You see that I just was saying, what is the difference between while loop and do while loop? While loop checks the condition initially means first, and then execute. But do while loop will check the condition later. So array. This is one of the very important topic from Java point of view and interview point of view, and you will be using those in your automation practice. So you see that like whatever we are learning right now, right? This is a new programming language, Java. All the basics we are learning. It's like, for example, you are learning English grammars, right? When you just go to school, like when you are like kindergarten or something, you learn like alphabetic, like A, B, C, something like that, and then how to write a letter, means how to write a word, then sentence, and then paragraph, right? So similar way, you are just going through fundamentally how you write Java code, different points, different type of uh, expectation, right? So when you can use array, when you can use different type of variables, different type of data types, and how you will be implementing those in Java. So this is actually, before going to array, I want to go a little bit about object creation. What is object? And let me go to object creation first, because sometimes, okay, this is actually should be in next class, but I'll be going a little bit backward first, actually. So if you see Java, right? Java is a object-oriented programming language. So in so far, you saw you created project and package, right? And inside the project and package, you created a lot of classes. Like for loop demo one, this is a class. String demo one, this is a class. If else demo, these are classes. You created a lot of classes. So in Java, these classes are template of creating some kind of object, or formula to create some kind of object. And anything you see, for example, class will be like general term, and using those car, or you see that this example is a car. You can write class is an animal, and under the animal there can be dog, there can be cat, right? There can be some other animals like cow and other thing. So those animals or different type of cars will be object. So object means, if anybody like took like biology, right? Genetic terms, is a blueprint. For example, you are an object from your parents, for example. So if you see that here, like your parents, and then you will be kind of object. Or you can say IT industry is a class. Now, inside IT industry, there can be cloud, right? There can be security, there can be a lot of other things. They are like part of this a class. So class will be like simple term of generalizing the term to create their subdivision or objects. So there is a option, there is a rules to create an object in Java, and that rules is basically you will be typing a word new. So anytime you want to create a class object, for example, you have a class name car, right? Now, if you want to create Volvo, Mercedes, any other car, all you have to do, this car class has some basic features, right? A car can have engine, right? The car can have body, there can have wheels, brakes, all of this, right? Is common features. These common features will be inside the car. And in the object, if you are part of this car class, all of these objects will have also same common feature. But it doesn't mean all of them will have exactly same thing. Like Audi will have exactly same thing, Toyota will have exactly same thing. No, you'll see this Volvo will have maybe 12 cylinder, Toyota will have maybe 8 cylinder. Cylinder is common in all of this car, for example. But doesn't mean all of this car will have exactly same. So you can modify inside the object when you get something from the class. So now we'll discuss this in the next class, but now I'm going back to array. Now I'm going back to array concept. So what is array actually? So far we saw, if you think about variable point of view, we had just declared one variable at a time, right? You see that int I equal to 0, j equal to 0, name 1 equal to Tom, name 2 equal to John, something like that. We did not actually declare more than one value. So far, we declared only one value at a time. But using the concept of array, right? This is for declaring more than one value at a time. You can declare like 20 value. You can declare 100 values, or you can declare only 5 values or only one values, right? So this is like more flexibility, right? Declaring more than one value. Now, if I create another class, Java class, array demo1, for example. So array is basically, if you go to also W3 school, see that Java arrays. It is first says Java arrays, right, are used to store multiple values in a single variable. So far, we did not store multiple values. All we did stores only single value, right? But in array, you see that you are using multiple values. There is only like 4 car, but you can add 20 car here. But there is a rules, right? You see that rules? What we did before? Before, we did not have this square bracket after the variable type, right? Now you are giving a bracket. And then what you did before? Before you just gave one value and semicolon. Now, since it is a group of numbers or group of values, it will be inside curly bracket and you have to give those. So this is the assignment, right? And your variable is cars, right? So how we can actually implement this? So implementation is basically, if you want, 1 second. So first you have to write, if you want to run any code, what you have to write? This is the line, right? You can always write this first, and then inside that you can give you all the Java code for now, actually. But when you see automation, right? Or when you will see inheritance or other part of Java, sometimes we will not write this one. Next class, you will see that. So when you write variables for array, you will always declare, actually, you will always declare the variable or array list, array name first. So if I give array as int, and there is one thing I have to actually mention. You see that this square bracket doesn't have to be after the type. It can be after the variables also. So it can be after the data type, or it can be after the variable name. So any place will be okay. For example, if I give int square bracket and then I, for example, same, right? Shortcut equal to, I can say there is two way to declare variables. New int, for example, new int, and inside the square bracket. Now, inside the square bracket, you can give how many number of variable you want. So if you are in a store, right? You have different type of coffee. Probably you have like 5 different type of coffee: regular coffee, decaf coffee, maybe Colombian, something like other coffee, right? Vanilla coffee or some hazelnut coffee, different type of. So for example, you have 5 type of coffee. So you are first declaring that, and this, you see that this new word means you just created a reference of array. So this is already part of your Java library. This library already has array class. So if you go to new and then int 5, basically you are just declaring that, okay, my array I, you see that array I, or you can say array array 1. So I can say array I or array 1. It doesn't matter. I'm just writing the name of the variable. This is just a name. Any name will be okay. Array, I can say array group. So naming convention is second word will be uppercase. So now you want to give the values. You want to declare the values. So what will be that? In array, right? It will be always count as index. Remember this 5? 5 is the total number. But if you think about index, this 5 will be starting from, so first value will be index 0. Index 0 equal to same as first. Always first will be index 0. I think this is coming from like 6th or 7th grade basic math. So indexing. So index means index will always start from 0. So 0 equal to same as the first number. or first point you are talking or mentioning. So if I say 5 is total length or total number of values will be inside this array, right? And then index 1 will be holding your first number, index 2 no, index 0 will be holding your first number, index 1 2 3 and 4. So basically index 4 will be holding number 5. So if I give now you see that array group, how you can declare some value. You always have to give inside the square bracket index number. So I want my first number as for example, first number is 5. So same way, I will just declare my all 5 number. So how many I gave? 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I can give 1, give 2, give 3, give 4, give 5. So same way, I'm giving maybe 7, maybe 9, 12, maybe 15, maybe 25. So you see that there are total of 6 number, but I gave total of 5 number. So will it be acceptable actually if I give 6 number, but I declared their variable will have only 5 number? That will not be accepted in array. So now, if I want to see all the numbers, what I have to do? If you just want to see your first number, for example, I'm saying I want to see what is in my index 3. All you have to do just system dot out dot println, right? And you have to give your array index, something like that. You want to see this, right? For example, I want to see in index number 2. All you have to give just this. So if I run this, you can see that exception in thread main Java, index 5 out of bound exception. This is an interview question actually. Why you see index 5 out of bound exception? Can somebody tell me? It says line number 13. There is a problem. Line number 13. This is line number 13. It says
Because
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No, you can tell the answer if you try.
I think because it's the number 5 is 25, and also it's the 6th. Like because we only need like if you count like 5, 7, 9, 12, these are like total of 6. But it's like I can't explain.
No, I understand what you're saying. Your thinking is right. So basically, you said your
Okay.
total number is 5, but
Yeah,
you gave total number of 6. This is a mismatch, and
yeah,
your actual code, actual array declaration, you have till index 4, not 5.
yes.
So
Yeah.
Java JDK is checking number 5 index, but it did not find anywhere.
Yeah.
It says I did not find index 5. Why you gave index 5 here? There is no space for index 5 actually. You are already giving the space.
Yeah, like
So,
it is checking only until
yeah.
array group 4.
Yeah, so this is called this one. So that means this index out of bound. So you bought a container for 20-ounce coffee. Now you are trying to put 30 ounce of coffee there. So other coffees will be, what are you gonna do? Like, so Java is giving you warning message, and this is exception. So there will be exception handling in the future classes also. If you see this type of exception, what you should write. Sometimes you have to write 2 lines of extra code to handle these type of exceptions, but it will be in the future class. So all you have to do, just remove these. Remove this means I'm just commenting out. Commenting out means it will not be part of the code. That you understood, right?
Or like, yeah, or like instead of new integer 5, if we write 6, it
If I
will
write
like
6, it will be also good. There is 2 options, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now if I run this, I will see, you see that exit code equal to 1. Exit code is 0 should be with successful run. There will be no 1. 1 means you have ran with error. Now, if I run this, index 2 should be displaying as 9 here now. You see that 9? And exit code 0 means now it ran successfully. So this is how you can find one number. So now if I want to see all my numbers here. So this is one way of writing or providing the values to array group, right? So what if instead of, if I have like 50 line here, right? Do you want to write 50 line like that? This is not like user friendly, right? Like you will have like entire screen just to writing array 1, 2, 3 like this. So instead of that, you are actually declaring your values together with the same line basically. So you will be giving, if you go just back to 1 second, array right here, you see that I'm trying to do this one, right? I just showed you I gave in different line, declaring each of these value in different line. So now instead of that, I am just I'm just keeping this inside the code. And so I just kept all of these lines, right, inside a comment. I want to write everything in one line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7, instead of 7 line, I want to write just one line. So all you have to do something like that. If you see that, int so this one, right? Just copy this maybe. I just want to give same thing. So before I gave square bracket here, right? I can give same square bracket here also. As I said, any position is good. You don't have to have in the middle, or it can be actually at the end also. So now to provide these numbers, all you have to do, just give a curly bracket, and end of the curly bracket is a semicolon. And inside the curly bracket, all of your numbers like this. See that? If you have string, it will be inside the double quotation. If you have numbers, it will be just plain numbers, no quotation required for numbers. So same thing I can do 5, 7, 9, comma 12, comma 15, comma 25, comma. So, okay, this is 25. So now if I run this, I can see still same. You see that only one line is covering like 7 or 8 line here, right? So even if you have like 100, if you have to provide 100 different numbers. So now you can probably, you can give an array in days in week, right? So in a week, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in a week, how many days? 7 days, right? So if you have something fixed, then it will be array, something like that, right? Now you will see in next class what happen if you don't have something fixed. Here you can know that, okay, in a week there is 7 days, in a month there is maybe 30 or 31 days, or in a year there is 365 days. And for example, United States has 50 states, something like that. Those are fixed number. What happen if some arrays should hold some number that's not fixed? Today is 200, tomorrow is maybe 400. That will be actually covered another topic called array list next class, but today we'll be just concentrating on something with fixed number, something that fixed, that you already know that, okay, this page will hold only 20 items, this screen will hold only 10 items, something like that, or this box will hold total of 50 items, something like that. So when something is fixed, then you're so you see that there is a mismatch, right? That means I have to just give days in the week. So this is IntelliJ or any kind of intelligent IDE. They will always suggest you what should be going inside. You see that? I don't even have to type everything. Double click, it will be just. Now, no error. So if I run this, I should see day number 6, right? Here, see? So here I just see 1, right? What happened if I want to see everything? Now I have to probably use for loop, right? Remember for loop? So for loop will be actually displaying everything. So alternative option of for loop is this, right? This is alternative option. So that means index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6. So this is alternative option of for loop. Means if you have 50 items here, you have to write 50 different lines. But if you don't want to write these 50 different lines, you can just cover everything in just one formula for loop. And what is for loop now? Remember, we have for loop with for always in the first, right? Then you always have to give 3 things inside the for loop. What 3 things you need? Can somebody tell me what 3 things you need inside the for loop?
First is the intrudes.
Is starting point, right? INT.
Yeah, starting point.
I equal to
Condition.
you will give the index, right? Index 0. The starting point is index 0, right? 1 is holding in index 0, right? 0. And then a semicolon, right?
Yeah.
Is the second part.
Condition.
Condition. So now, before going to for loop, what I want to write. So for example, you gave some numbers here, but like maybe you have like 350 number or 320 number here total in your testing. You want to just quickly check that how many is the total count. How you can check? In array, there is a already in Java, right? JDK you downloaded, they already have built-in methods that how you can show you the total number of values inside this array list array. So all you have to do, just write days in the week dot. You see that length? That's it. That's supposed to give you the total number of values you have. And if I actually what happened? Okay. If I want to display here, this one, this length, what I have to do? So for example, if you want to display something, how you can display? Will it display anything here?
It will give an error.
It will not display anything. To display something, what you need? You have to write some system.println, right?
Yeah.
If you see there, all of these examples, you see that always everything you want to display will be system.println, right? Without system.println, you cannot actually display. So here I will be showing something like that. You see that now you have list of something string, right? All you have to do, you see that for loop starting point, and you see that length. This is a dynamic. So this cars dot length means you actually don't know the number here. Maybe there are a total of 11 cars, or maybe there are a total of 15 cars. So you are not giving a fixed number. So if there are fixed number that you already know, you can give here. But the good practice in testing, you will always say length. That means it will automatically count here and give you the length, and then I++. So one second, I'm just copying and I'll show you first. And then I will also continue with that one also. I want to show you first this. Okay. So if I run this, right, I will see all of these 4. You see that Volvo, BMW, Ford, Mazda. So now this is a used car retail company. So this company now next week has maybe 2 more cars. So this one has Volvo, next week maybe Honda and Toyota. So you see that now, actually. What is that? Okay. Oh. Why is coming like that actually?
I think after Honda, like Honda, you have to put two.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh, okay. Actually, there is a missing quote. Actually,
yeah.
that's why it's a problem. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So now it's good. So you see that the use of length is always good because of flexibility. So even you have like you change something here, if you just write length, you don't have to count anything. So maybe after 1 month, you have maybe 50 different car here. So you don't have to count anything. It will be automatically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? It will count 6 here. Car dot length will be 6 automatically. And now if you run this, it will be displaying here. So if you had count, if you don't give this, and just write 4, that was before, and run this, it will never show the newly added car. You see that Honda and Toyota is not there. But because maintenance will be a little bit extra maintenance, right? If you want to just don't give length, that means you have to always count manually and then provide the number here. But you don't want to count every time. You just give dot cars dot length, and it will be automatically counting this anything you add. So similar way, actually, I will try to okay. I will try to do same thing this one also. So I say system dot out dot println. So now I want to see how many number of days in a week. So this, since this is a string, right? The sentence is a string. So I'm saying how many number of days in a week. I want to just say, want to display here. Oh, I did not complete this for loop. That's why it is giving me error. Okay. I'm just commenting out and then running it. You see that you have to complete. That's why it is giving illegal start. Now it is good. You see that number of days in a week, 7. So same thing I can do now. I can continue my for loop here. I want to see all of these days. So one thing I can do, I can just remove this comment and complete my for loop. So my starting point is 0, right? And then I equal to, actually I is less than the total length, right? So why I'm not giving less than or equal to? Can somebody tell me what is the reason I'm not giving less than or equal to? This is an interview question actually. Why I'm not giving less than or equal to? Can somebody try?
Because there is no day 0.
No. So if I give, for example, here, right? I equal to less than or equal to. If I give equal to, and this length is coming as total of 7, right? Is index 7 has any number? Index 6 has 7. So index 7 does not have any number here, right? Can somebody see?
Yeah, you're right.
So it will be giving you same exception, index out of bound exception, because it will go
Yeah.
to index number 7 and will say that, okay, I didn't find anything index number 7. That's why you will not give equal to. So now you are saying run this program till index number 6. Whenever you reach index number 7, stop the program. So now I can just simply write system dot out dot println, and you want to see all of this 1 2 3 4 5. So what you have to write? You have to write your variable. You see that variable? This variable days, week, and inside the square bracket, excuse me, sorry, you have to give, you see that this is the reference you started with, I. Everybody see, right?
Yeah.
So now if you run this, actually I want to give some separation of these two different code. Just giving separation because I want to see separately. This is just like separation of this between two different array. So if I run this now, so this one came Volvo, and before that, it came like this. So this concept, right, array list, array concept will be very, very useful because, for example, now you will go to some website, and in this website, there is a drop down, right? Drop down is displaying different type of option. So now you want to see these different type of option. You have to display this information using array. Remember in the beginning, whatever we did, right? We used just a single value. But when you have more than one value, or you want to display something more than one, you cannot use just one single variable. You always have to use this array concept to display as a group. It's a group of list of number, right? List of object, anything list. So this is the concept of array actually. So now if you want to see some other thing. So far you saw one thing, that you used either number or you used either string. What happens if you want to create an array and want to provide not only number, different type of other values? Like, for example, you are giving numbers, you are giving string, maybe you are giving car, right, characters, this type of thing. So there is another option. So whenever you used mix of objects, means not specific int type or string type, you have second option as a creating object type. Instead of int, it will be just object. It will be just object, not maybe you want to use double. Somebody's height, right, is 5 feet 9 inch or something like that, or 5 feet 11 inch. So that is a double, right? Or somebody's salary, or somebody's gender, male or female, F or M, those are tar, right? So at this type of situation, you can use object instead of specific type. Instead of specific type, you will be using object type. And so you can just simply, okay, I can use simply last option for today's class also. So instead of that, right, I'm just separating another one. And writing combination of different data types. So here, all you have to do, instead of int or string, I will just directly write object. So object data type actually is a parent of all other data types. Basically, you can say object is parent of all other data types. So if you use object, it will basically cover everything. I'm saying obj1, for example. And since I'm creating an array, it will be something like that. And giving. So now I'm giving something. I'm giving something like name, for example. Name John, comma, maybe age 30. Maybe then maybe salary, maybe, for example, 70.5K, for example. And gender maybe male, right? And whenever you have single character, it will be char or string. You can do both. So you see that now I want to display all of this. Same thing. All of this, just copy and paste. So for int I equal to, so obj, and then you see that instead of char, just write obj1. You see that there is two lengths, so one length will be deleted, right? I plus plus, and instead of chars, obj. So everybody understood this part?
Yeah.
So if I run this, let's see what happens. Now you can see all of this, like you see the doubles, char, int, string. So this can be interview question. So if you want to use multiple of type of data in some array, what type of declaration you do? You will be doing object data type. Your type will be object, not string, not int, nothing, just object, because basically object is kind of parent of all types. So it is already built in. This object is already built in inside the Java JDK. So yeah, so that's actually, let me go back. I don't want to give too much for today, actually. So far, what we did, we completed actually 3 and 4. This video 3 and 4, and kind of half of the 5. So basically today I will stop here, and next class I will do this. Next class I will do this. Next class probably I will do maybe 3.5 hours instead of 3 hours, and try to cover all of this. Today I'll be stopping a little early. Anybody has any questions? Just
No.
and I will also add this recording here. Okay, so, and also I will be sharing this document again. So far we covered 3 types of loops, and we also saw break and continue, and use of different type of loops, when you will be using this loop, when you will not be using this loop, array, different type of concept with array. That's it for the day. So if you have any question, just you can call me, text me, or text in the group, and just keep practicing with this course. That will be the that will be kind of homework or your self practice, actually. Exactly follow the guy, the instructor. Any question from anybody else?
No questions.
Okay, so that's it for the day. Keep practicing, and I will share the recording, or even I don't share, you know where it is. End of the day it will be there, but I have to share the, I think, this note with you. Okay, so we can stop here. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.